So like you mentioned before, you know, having what you call the golden handcuffs, which is what I love.
Hmm.
You know, basically just being tied to something that you know is not good for you. Um, so having that sustainability, having that comfortability of that safety net of 9 to 5, health insurance, check coming in,
It's the American dream, right?
right, and then jumping off and essentially becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own
Hmm.
business. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I feel like a lot of DJs in this day and age, they sometimes struggle with trying to keep themselves happy, but also keep a roof over their head.
Yeah.
What kind of struggles did you go through?
I went through all the struggles that every person that struggles with being faced with when you have a real opportunity to make a decision. You know, you know that if you stay here in this lane that you're in, you have these creature comforts that allow you to have a certain, they allow you to have peace of mind within the construct of what success is in the American success model. And that bears a lot of weight. There's a lot to that. I don't say that dismissively or negatively about that. That there's a lot to being an American that has an education that puts themselves in a position to be employed at a certain level and achieve certain financial goals, savings, benefits, take care of a family and all of that. And as an artist, there is a selfishness that comes with being an artist, particularly in the DJ game, where if you're prone to apologizing for who you are, you're gonna feel a lot of guilt. You're gonna carry a lot of weight with you because there's people around you who are passing judgment on this decision because they don't see the long game that you see. They see the game in like, well, you've got your degree, you've got your job. Why would you give up? Why would you give up something so secure? Why would you give up something guaranteed? That's a fool's bet,
Right.
right? Unless you're a gambler. Plain and simple. It's that simple. Some people gamble, some people save. Some people believe I got to build up this big nest egg for a long rainy day, and when it really gets bad and I get old, everything is going to be good. And then they get old and they got all this shit and they're miserable because all they did was worry about maintaining this thing. And then there's some of us who get out and live day to day and check to check, not because we're not making good money, but because we live through what that the finance and the social environment and the cultural fabric that comes with this community that we rock in, that's the payday.
Right.
That's where the paper is. I know that talking to you today adds a decade to my fucking career because there's guys that think you're a fucking genius that have no idea who the fuck I am. And if you're taking the time to sit down with me and break bread with me and ask me these type of questions, they're going to be my fucking fans too. And vice versa.
Facts.
That vision is not something that everyone is built to see. Guy like yourself, guy like me, could take a punch. You'll take the fight. Even if you know you're going to take a beating, you'll take the fight on principle, right?
Right.
Some guys are peacekeepers.
Hmm.
Oh, no confrontation. What kind of ecosystem is that?
No.
It's like you saw the Chris Rock special. He was like, they're putting out this ordinance. They're trying to put out this educational ordinance about like no bullying in
Yeah,
school.
yeah, I saw that.
When a kid, and I'm a father of an 11-year-old. By no means do I condone bullying,
Right.
but he brought up a beautiful point about how what the fuck is school without bullies? It's a great deal of where you really learn what you're made of or how clever you really are versus how clever you think you are when you get in a room full of cats that could push you around if they wanted to.
Right. You find out about
You
yourself.
find out about yourself. This is a proving ground, right? Sticks and stones. All this stuff of what little boys are made of. All of that. There's a real substance to that. People like us, we keep that. We still have this kid in the sandbox thing. You know, just sitting in your space, just feeling everything off of the equipment and the aesthetics of the space and all the music that's in here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big ass sandbox. When our friends come in here, they just think, well, that takes up a lot of space. Right? And then you go apologizing for how much shit you got. Oh, guys, I'm sorry, man. You know, it's my collection. I'm sorry. It's part of what I do. And you end up apologizing for who you are a lot. You know, for me, it came to the point where I ceased apologizing for who I am. And who I am is a person that enjoys calculated risk and enjoys taking a chance on myself to see if I can affect the situation. Because in our job capacity, when you affect the situation, you're essentially leaving people better than they were when you found them.
Mm.
And I think that that's the larger beauty of our job.
And our job is a hell of a job, you know, and like you said, it's not work if you love it. So
Right.
it's not even a
You'll
job.
never work a day in your life.
Right. So you leave your job, as you said, 95,
I walked at the top of 96.
96. At what year would you say you started to have some consistency? You know, you're doing those 3 gigs a week. You're, you know, making, like you said, those 5 to 1,000, or were you already doing that prior to leaving?
I was doing that prior to leaving. So that was back to your earlier question. And did I save a certain amount of money or
Right.
anything like that? No, I did not. But what I did do was make sure that I had 365 days of relationship building and nurturing these residency relationships where, you know, I play here on a Monday and it's a smoker's lounge.
Right.
And this is where I get my jazz records off. I play over here on a Wednesday and this is a small dance floor club, but I play disco and house here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go play this party on Saturday and it's just a hard leg hip hop b-boy thing. So I had set the diversification of my presentation up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing one style of music with these people, playing another style of music over here, another style of music over here. I have a strong relationship with each of them. They don't conflict with each other. And I'm not digging their backs out to get this money. And they're seemingly enjoying me being there. I've been there for a year. I made X amount of money cash doing these jobs aside from what I make on my taxable job. I could pay my bills with the fun money. I could keep the job and pay my bills with the fun money, but that is a lot of work. So fuck this job.
Fuck this job.
You know, and then praise God, maybe 6 months before I left the job, Bobbito and Crazy Legs came to visit me in Philly, and I was playing at the Palmer Social Club. And, you know, Bobbito and Crazy Legs, you know, Stretch and Bob was on fire.
Mm.
Crazy Legs was in his physical prime.
Mm-hmm.
So these are my guys, and they come to hang out at the Palmer. And the next day after the party, Bob was like, I don't even know why you work with these people, man. You need to open your own club.
Hmm.
That club was 3 floors. There was 1,000 people in there. 600 of them are on your floor. The other floors are dead. This is coming from like New York royalty,
Right.
who happens to be my friend. I was like, yeah, you know, I don't really have the finances or the wherewithal to go after opening a club. He was like, well, you should think about it, man, because you don't really need to play here. You could have your own place. You know, that was just like, no one had ever talked to me like that before. And I'm sitting across the table from Bobbito and Crazy Legs, talking to me like this in front of my mom.
Mm.
At the end of that conversation, he said, well, if you don't want to open your own club, you should open a store, and you should call it Medina. Your last name rolls off the tongue. I was like, well, that's arrogant. He was like, okay, well, you know, I got Footwork in New York. Maybe we can open a sister store in Philadelphia. And 2 months later, I walked away from my job.